What is up, everyone? It is Andrew Pierre here of Beta AT Production and Publishing, bringing you guys a new YouTube video. In this YouTube video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to EQ your beat, or EQ the different elements of your beat inside of FL Studio 12. So currently, I don't have anything really other than this little orchestral crash. What we're going to do is just create a quick beat and something very quick, and then we're going to EQ. We're only going to do the EQ parts of the beat. Then yeah, I'm just film and explain everything, and I'm upload not upload, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this started real quick. Okay, I don't know if I want this orchestral crash anymore from this. There you go, I like that one. Just flipping through some of these. So I'm just gonna replace this, and we're gonna do let's do addictive keys. I like addictive keys a lot. It's a good piano VST. It's probably one of my favorite ones, and I always go over to this section. So I'm just gonna make a basic, probably trap beat. I know a lot of you are kind of getting sick of that. I am too, don't worry. But that's not the point of this tutorial. Tutorial is the EQ. Alright. We're gonna go down. Alright, so now we're gonna go get hi-hat. Just gonna do some like basic stuff. Alright, so we're almost done. We just need to get the 808. Get our 808 in there. Cut by self. Alright, so everything is done. This is gonna be our sample beat. I don't need the browser anymore. So we're gonna focus on probably a little bit of the mix. We're gonna level this off to a nice sounding beat, I guess, somewhat. And we're gonna just focus on the EQ. So what I'm doing is double clicking right here so it selects everything. We're gonna go over here, right click channel routing, route selected channels starting from this track. Now we got everything in our mixer. So naturally, normally I like to tune down my instruments. Sometimes it's usually just easy to do that. So if you want to select multiple, you could just hold control. What is it? Was it control? Yeah, hold control and then drag. So you can select all of them. Now. So if we're gonna pull up our orchestral crash, we're gonna do EQ. So wherever you see those lines, that's where sound is hitting on the spectrum. So we're gonna pull this down. What I'm doing right here is pulling this high end down because very rarely will you hear the harmonics up there. So we could pinch it in a little bit. Then I might do a little bit boost, and I'm pinching it in and doing the finer by scrolling in and out of my wheel. And you could also come over here and be a little bit more precise. So just doing a little, I'm not boosting too much. I don't want to boost I don't want to do that. Unless if that's the sound you're going for, but that's not the sound I'm going for. And it usually just distorts the audio. And so now what I'm gonna do is cut the low end. And I do that by just scrolling down, looking for this high pass. And it'll tell me kind of like up here, FL Studio will tell you some of the things. So if I come over here, high pass. I cut all the low end because there's really nothing there. Now it's not too important. Now if we go over to, I'm going to kind of jump around. If we go over to our 808 and EQ it, so you hear it's in the lower end frequency. As long as you get some nice headphones or monitors, you can be able to hear the low end frequency. I'm gonna pull down the low end like this. The reason why is this is just muddiness and we more than likely don't need it, and it doesn't affect the sound. Now 2, I'm gonna do a little bit boost right in here. Kind of has a little bit more of a lower bass thump, and then I like to grab 3, zoom it in where it's like a pinch, where it's like a bump, and I like to do it in this bass range around 100 hertz, and you can see it kind of comes from the high and it goes down to the low. Alright, now what I'm also do is cut out the high. So if we pull over here, this means that we're cutting out the higher frequencies. It rolls off. So we're going to come up a little bit. I want it a little bit more steeper. Alright, cool. Now I'm going to pull that down a little bit. Now here we got the kick. Now the kick, I usually don't do a complete roll off on the high end. This one also has more harmonics up here in the mid range. I'm definitely gonna do a boost right here with the 3. Actually, I want to get that sweet spot. So we got sweet spot. Now I'm just cutting up a little bit in the mid, just a little bit. And I'm gonna do that same thing with the 1. Tune it down here. We don't need it. And since this kick is more, it's a power slam and it has more of an essence on the, has a sound in that mid and upper frequency. It kind of has a more of a character sound, and it doesn't fight so much with the 808, which makes it a decent kick to use. And it's a decent punch. I might stack that kick even, but it doesn't really matter right now. And this is all very subjective. Depending on the different kicks and sounds you have, your EQ is going to be a little bit different, but hopefully you can kind of see like how I'm doing it. And I'm cutting out that high end on the kick because I personally don't want that upper harmonics. I want a little bit more focus on the low and mid for the kick, and then for the 808 it's mostly in the low sub bass area. Now here we go for our snare. I'm gonna grab the snare, and also you don't want to over EQ. This is kind of like a very quick run through. I can be doing this a whole lot more fine and better, but this is a tutorial on showing you the fundamentals and purpose of doing these things. Now with the snare is I already know that I want to cut out some of that low end, but there's really not a lot. So I got like a low mid right here, and then I got the upper end, and then I got nothing really in here. So now when I like boosting, I'm not going to do too much of a drag on the higher end because there's an essence, like a transient sound is what we call it in the upper harmonics, where I just rather not get rid of it for the snare. I like to have my snares that have an upper harmonic sound a little bit and then a little boost in the low mid. So I'm pulling that low, make it a little bit steeper. All right, it sounds a little bit more tight. No. So that's what it sounded like before. Here's what it sounds like now. Again, before, now. You can kind of tell. I can tell, but hopefully you guys can kind of see what I mean by that. So now we got the orchestra, crash, snare, kick, and 808. Alright, so now we got to go to the hi-hat. Hi-hat, I'm going to completely get rid of that low end. This is just a personal thing for me. Not a lot of people would get rid of that much for this. I like that. I like this. Alright, so then if we do it, I like a good idea on everything and sounds and how sounds can compete with each other. I like to create a mental image of where everything is at. So there's opening up in here in this range. We got a lot of stuff going on in the low end because of that 808 and kick, and then we have a brass which we haven't even gotten to yet. So there's going to be a lot of things in the low end, and we got a low brass, mind you. And then for the upper end, we really just got a snare, kind of the snare, and then a hi-hat. So I like to create this mental image of where all the instruments and drums and such are on the spectrum, and then see where in that spectrum is open. And mind you, vocals are going to be in this low mid to upper mid area, depending on a person. If you're like a little bibby, your voice might be in the low bass area, like in this range, but it just depends on everyone's voice. So keep that in mind as well when making your beats. You don't want to overcrowd it. Now we get to the open hat. Once again, it's like in the upper mid. I'm gonna do a little bit dip, and I'll do a little bit of a boost right here, and then cut right down here. So yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna do a little panning too, to the right, to the left, I mean, and right with the hi-hat. So if we listen to everything, now if we listen to it with the keys, so the keys are in that mid area. Alright, we're gonna just do the keys. I don't want anything in a low, because we get that bass and kick, and the bass and kick is very important within this range. I'm gonna do like a little bit fine right here. There's a nice little key banging that I kind of like right in here. Then I might just do a little bit of a boost in the upper harmonic. Very minimal. Alright, now we got this brass. Now, this brass is all over the place, and it doesn't really, I guess we could say right here and here, between low bass and bass, and low mid. It's kind of like where we got a lot of the frequency. Now, I'm not going to cut completely from the upper harmonics, but I'm definitely going to create that dip. You can tell that muffle difference is tremendous. Hear it now without it, with it, kind of almost muffles it. So I'm gonna just do a little bit in the low mid, a little boost. I don't want to, with EQing, I'm honestly like a mixed person with this. You want to do more cutting than boosting. Boosting, you tend to do more damage to the mix, so I try my best to be careful with boosting. So I feel that cutting the unwanted is usually better than boosting what you want, if that makes sense. That's something I should have stated earlier. So kind of like cutting this low, because we got that 808. So if we listen to the 808 and kick, alright, now we can go over to this lead. Alright, I'm definitely going to cut that low end out. Do a little dip right there. This is kind of like a pretty solid sound. I want that focus in the mid-ish and some in the high, but I'm not going to mess with the high too much. So now if we listen to everything. Now if we listen to everything mixed without the parametric EQ on everything, we got so much EQ, so much EQ. We're gonna see if you guys can hear a difference. And we're done, pretty much. I don't really see a point on covering this any much more. It honestly doesn't sound horrible. This is with everything off because we have it mixed, so it kind of helps, but I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna play it now. I'm gonna play it again with everything. So turn all this stuff on. God, there has to be a faster way of doing this. Done. All right. I think it sounds better. Obviously, it's not done. We did this pretty quick, and I tried to explain everything. Hopefully that you guys now have a better understanding at the EQ, how it works. So, I mean, you can also use the EQ for filters and all that such, because the EQ is actually kind of how filters are made for the most part. You got the low pass filter, high pass filter, band pass filter, etc., etc. So if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to give it a like, thumbs up, share, comment, and subscribe, because that all helps us. So yeah, this is Andrew Pierre here of Beta AT Production and Publishing, and I'll see you guys later.